My name is Aaron, and I married a woman named Grace, the love of my life. She was my safe place, the one who made me feel whole in every way. Her smile could brighten the darkest room. Her laugh was soft, and her heart was kind. I knew from the start that she was not just a part of my life. She was my whole life, my home, and my forever. There were hard days, but Grace never let me feel alone. She stood beside me always. Her touch was gentle, her words were warm, and her love healed my tired heart. She was not from a rich family, only a simple, kind woman, with her heart full of sunshine. She always smiled, and she always gave me peace, no matter how hard life became for us. We did not have much money, but we lived in a small apartment, and it was our home. It was a happy place, where small things made us glad every day, and nothing else mattered. We cooked together, we laughed together, and we had everything we needed, for we did not ask for more. We had each other, but my parents were a different story. They were very, very rich and proud. They never understood our joy because they lived in a huge mansion, and they owned a big family business. They were powerful people, cold and proud, and they did not approve of my wife from the start. From the first day, they were cold to her. They never liked Grace, thinking she was not worthy. They thought she was not good enough for me, or for our family, and that broke my heart. I remember my wedding day. My parents did not smile, and it broke me inside to see that. My mother came to me, her face like a stone, and she said, "That woman is not right." Her words cut me deeply. She said, "Grace is from a poor family, and she will hold you back." My father said the same thing. They both spoke without mercy, their voices sharp, and their words poisoned my heart. He said, "A man needs a strong wife, a wife from a good family, not a simple girl. A simple girl who works in a flower shop, and he believed she could never stand beside me proudly." But I loved Grace, and I did not listen to them. Still, my parents gave me a choice. It was the hardest choice of my life, love or money, for there was no middle ground possible. $1 million or my poor wife. I did not know what to do, and time passed quickly. A year passed, and my life with Grace was happy, but my life with my parents was war. They were always polite, but their eyes were cold, their silence heavy, and their words carried hidden anger always. His eyes were hard. He said, "We will give you everything, but you must do one thing for us." I waited. He said the words that broke my world. He said, "You must divorce Grace. That is our condition. That is our price." The room was silent. I could not breathe. I could not believe what I heard. Divorce Grace? The love of my life? For money? My mother spoke. Her voice was cold and sharp. She said, "We are doing this for you." She said, "Son, she is a mistake. A mistake you can now fix." Her words cut. Her words cut like a knife. "You can have a wonderful life. You just have to choose. You just have to make the right choice." I left their office. I did not say yes. I did not say no. My mind was a storm. I drove home to my small apartment. I looked at our simple life and I thought about the rich life I could have. The next few weeks were a nightmare. My soul felt torn in two. My parents' offer was poison. It was a poison in my mind. I was in a deep internal war every day. One part of my mind thought about the money. A life with no bills, no worries, no stress. I could give Grace everything. A big house, a nice car, beautiful clothes, a shining life ahead. But I had to lose her to get the money. The other part of my mind refused. It thought about Grace, her kind smile, her warm laugh, our simple, happy life. She was treasure. Love was stronger than gold. But my parents' words stayed in my head. She is holding you back. The secret was a heavy weight on my heart. It made me a different person than before. I became quiet and distant. I did not laugh anymore. I was always thinking, always worried, always lost. Grace noticed the change. She was not a stupid woman. She knew something was wrong between us. She tried to talk to me. She said, "Aaron, what is wrong? You seem so far. You seem so far away. You can talk to me. We are a team together." But I could not tell her the truth. How could I tell my wife that? How could I tell her that my parents wanted to buy her out of my life? How could I tell her that I was thinking about it? The shame was too big. So I lied. I said, "I am just tired from work." I am sorry, Grace. My lie was a new wall between us. The wall grew higher each day in our home. Our happy home slowly turned into a quiet, sad place. The sunshine in her heart started to fade. She thought I did not love her anymore. Her smile was disappearing. My choice was becoming more clear. My choice was clear. I could be a rich man with no soul or life, or I could be a poor man with a heart full of love, true love. One evening, I opened an old photo album. I saw a picture of me and Grace. It was from our wedding day. We were so happy. We had nothing, yet we had everything. We had love, and that was enough. That moment reminded me who I truly was inside. I looked at her smiling face in the picture, and in that moment, the war in my mind ended. I knew my choice. I knew what I must do. I drove to my parents' big mansion. They were in their fancy living room, waiting for my answer. I stood in front of them. I was not a weak boy anymore. I was a man who knew the value of true love. My voice was calm and strong. I said, "I have thought about your offer. I have made my decision." I looked at my father. I looked at my mother. I said, "I choose my wife. I choose Grace. I choose our love and our life together. You can keep your money. You can keep your business. I do not want it." My parents were shocked. They were angry. My father stood up. He said, "You are a fool, Aaron. You are choosing a poor girl over fortune. You will regret this." But I was not afraid anymore. I shook my head. I said, "No, Father, I will never regret this. The only thing I regret is my silence. The only thing I regret is hurting my wife." I turned and walked out of their house. I did not look back. I drove home peacefully. I felt so light. The heavy weight was gone from my heart. I was not rich, but I was free. I walked into our small apartment. Grace was sitting on the sofa waiting. She looked so sad. I sat beside her. I held her hands and spoke gently. I told her everything. I told her about my parents' cruel offer. I told her about my hesitation. At last, the truth was free. I told her about my final choice. I told her I chose her forever and always. My heart was sure and calm. Not just today, not just tomorrow, but for all my life. She was mine. I wanted her in every moment. She was my forever home, the place where my heart rested and felt complete always. Her presence made me safe. Tears rolled down her face, but they were not sad. They were joyful, bright tears. Her eyes spoke louder than words. They were shining tears of happiness, carrying the beauty of love that words could never explain. Her smile was pure light. The heavy wall between us finally broke. She fell into my arms with relief. At last, nothing stood between us. She held me tight and whispered softly, "You are a good man, Aaron. My everything." Her voice was soft and warm. "You are the only treasure I will ever need, the gift of my whole life." Her love was simple and true. That night, our small apartment no longer felt small. Its walls were glowing with endless warmth. Every corner held memories. It was the biggest mansion in the world, filled with the one thing that mattered most. Love made it beautiful. It was filled with love, a love that made us rich beyond every treasure of gold. Love gave me everything. I was not a rich man's son anymore, but I was the richest man alive. Her love was my fortune. Love had made me wealthier than gold ever could. It made me truly alive inside. Love was my greatest gift. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting stories. Take care, everyone.